Hello, Uggies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question comes from Bill, WW5MB, in Keithville, Louisiana. He says, "Hey Dave, I'm disabled and was dreading laying out radials for new vertical, Gap Challenger DX. We've done previous reviews of the Gap Challenger. It's actually a good antenna. For a while the instructions were pretty bad, but that's been fixed. So it's a good antenna. It's not as expensive as the others, but it is a standard ground-mounted radial. There are ways to mount it up on roofs and stuff, but best just ground-mounted it. Now, the problem with the Gap is that there's nothing to hold it upright. You don't stick a pole into the ground or anything like that. It just sits on the ground. And then you push all your radials around. And that's great, but you're going to need to put guys on the antenna to keep it up in the air. I would use nylon guys. There is rope made for putting up antennas. Mass Trent is one of the major vendors. But if you go to DX Engineering, they have a lot of stuff that's less expensive that also is UV resistant and quite strong. I would not recommend the use of rope from Home Depot for any permanent antenna installation because they don't have anything that's UV resistant. It may say a little bit UV resistant. UV resistant sort of like, oh, stop hitting us, UV rays. We don't like it, but UV rays don't tend to listen to little things like that. You've got to have something with the UV shield in it. Otherwise, ultraviolet will do the same thing to your antenna that it does to your skin. Okay, it will make it degrade. All right. He says he saw in December QST an article about building a halfway vertical with no radials, even though I was stuck using a walker to get around. Okay, a half-wave antenna with no radials usually is a weird-looking beast because of all the reactive elements that are on it. But it needs to be mounted up off the ground. Okay, being a dipole, both ends are hot. And you don't want that hot one down on the ground. It'll interact with the ground too much. So you want about a 10-foot mast, get it up off the ground, which means you are going to need to guide the antenna. Okay, the instructions will tell you where specifically to guide the antenna. You may also need to guide the 10-foot mast itself. Okay, this is a case in antennas where height matters. All right, and that works. He says, last time we had good propagation with that Challenger. I had 2 QSOs, or contacts, with New Zealand, as well as an Argentine weather station down in Antarctica. Okay, so things are looking good. Says, thanks in 73. Those are both good antenna ideas. They work well. Now, I'm going to say this about antennas, okay? I recommend that you never try to put up an antenna by yourself. You at least have somebody as a safety observer. In your case, being disabled, it might be best if you are the safety observer. The safety observer has one job and one job only, and that is to call 911 if things go sideways. Now, you'll need 1 or 2 other people to help get that antenna up and watching to make sure it doesn't come close to power lines, that it doesn't actually fall down on somebody while it's being put up. My assistant and I just had that problem putting an antenna mast up. While we were working on it, it fell down. So fortunately it didn't hit anybody or anything, but it was mildly embarrassing. We had to switch to a different antenna rope. We were using parachute cord, but parachute cord stretches, so that didn't work. We found enough UV resistant a cord in pieces to tie them all together to get that mast up. 30-foot mast. First 30-foot mast I've ever had. So there you have it. I mean, if you are having good luck with an antenna, by all means, simply proceed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, hams never seem to abide by that dictum. So they will change and fix things, and you will too. I certainly do. Until we next meet, 73.